Good evening, ladies and gents. We are here for another game of Ateneo LCS. We have Team Syndicate versus. Oh god, I forgot the other team. I'm so bad. Okay.
Good job, JB.
I'm so bad. I'm so
It's
bad at
Team
introductions.
Syndicate versus Team Solo Queue.
Okay, so we have Team Syndicate versus Team Solo Queue. Hey, hey, don't play me. Okay, so we have on Team Solo Queue, Magni, PWHV, Veni, Death Dealer 23, SS Chitoge, and Conel. For Team 2, which is Team Syndicate, we have SY Imperia, SY Frisco, SY Tyrone, SY Mendy, and SY Frizzly. We'll have Champion Select up in a bit. Our shortcasters are the following. We have Tessa.Wu, Mokin Cakes. We'll also have Zero Kills, and we'll have D-Wolf X. So, um, joining us later will be a bunch of other people who will be casting with us. So we're now going to our picks and bans. Blue team has first ban rather, and they banned Thresh. Purple team bans Hecarim. Blue team bans Nunu.
Hmm. Well, I think that's an alright ban because in the past games, Syndicate has really been influential in the dictating the pace of the game. It's actually pretty known that Nunu is probably one of his more combo picks, and that he does really well in objective control with it. Not so much the counter, not so much
Yay.
the counter jungling, but he really uses it well in objective control with early dragons and for counter ganks.
So our information tells us that Syndicate's jungler is known for his Nunu. So I think that's a very good target man. So Nautilus gets banned from the blue team. So that's a really good support right now, I believe. And we have the last ban from purple team, which is Sejuani.
So no surprise about the Sejuani ban. It seems that blue team really targeted the bot lane, having two of the three bans directed towards bot lane, being Thresh and Nautilus, while purple team has a more all-around banning with Hecarim, Victor, Sejuani. So it'll be really interesting to see since a lot of the powerhouse is already gone. Nautilus is really strong in enabling kills at bot lane, and we have the Gragas pick.
But
I actually like Gragas as one of the first picks. I think he's one of the best junglers out there right now. I think he's arguably even better than Sejuani.
yeah, but then we're seeing the Lee. See Lee right now. So
He'll pick through it.
SY Imperial hovering over a Braum.
Oh, just so you know, the stream I'm watching is Blade.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. Oh no.
go ahead.
So far, Syndicate picked Braum and Gragas. Braum for the Syndicate support is the most picked. While for blue team, he's either hovering over Sion and Janna. Sion's really good engage, while Sion's very strong top laner. You're not really susceptible to counter picks as Sion in top lane. I'm still curious about what they pick for your bot lane. Okay, now they're hovering Gen. This could be a bit dangerous since you're kind of blind picking it to, and you know, they have two hard block picks in Braum and Gaga.
Like the thing about Braum is that only the shield only blocks the damage from the first projectile that hits it, and like all things considered, the damage might be important, But what's more important is that the Jana Q tornado will still push through, if I'm not mistaken. So
It depends. If
It
that's the
depends.
first projectile, actually, if I am not mistaken, it works like a semi-wind wall. It will eat all the it will eat all projectiles thrown its way, and like if it's an auto attack, it will eat the auto attack up, and Braum will take the damage after the first hit.
Cause like, um, I used to play Brom like a couple of months back, and like when I timed it against the Blitz hook, like I still got hooked. So I guess it's a bit different now.
I'm surprised though. There's the hovering over the Shen. You obviously haven't seen Shen in such a long time, and it's
Mhm.
outclassed by a lot of top lanes though. But they're switching it to Vlad.
Yeah, they
So.
switch it to Vladimir and Lucian.
And I think those are far superior picks. Although seeing Shen would have been really exciting. I haven't seen that guy in ages. And I think they buffed him with a recent patch with the ult change. It's now a lot more lenient to teleport things.
So purple team locked in Vladimir and Lucian. So I guess we're seeing a Lucian Brom bot, which is pretty strong because the passive procs the
Mhm.
Brom Q, a Brom passive
Yeah,
twice.
Lucian's passive can fault the Braum stat exceedingly fast. It actually used
Mhm.
to be such a killer bot lane before Braum got nerfed. And so did Lucian, of course.
So we have
But I really like.
Kassadin and Sion on the blue team as the last two picks, if I'm not mistaken. So blue team finally locked their entire team. In no specific order in any of these possible combinations.
I'm
Lee Sin,
guessing.
Janna, Jinx, Kassadin, and Sion.
I'm guessing Venny will go Lee while Jano will go to Magni.
Yep. Sion notably running Telesmite. So that's the thing right now. Top lanes run Telesmite.
Actually, the biggest thing that I have a problem with Telesmite Scion is the fact that it's Telesmite Scion. Scion really, you really want to stay in lane. You really want to
Mhm.
dominate it since Scion's basically a brick wall. But getting that smite means that in order to maximize having that smite up, you want to roam in the jungle so that really decreases his lane pressure. You understand? So
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
you're
I
bullying
understand.
your lane, you can use the smite to the biggest potential it can have. You can see the jungle creeps properly, unless it's your own jungle, but then it'll hurt your own jungler.
Yep,
Stuff
that's
like that.
true.
So, not sure how I feel about the smite teleport on Sion, but I think out of all of them, you're gonna have to watch the Lee Sin and the Fizz. You're probably gonna have no the Lee Sin and the Gragas. Both of them have really strong playmaking potentials early in the game with high base damage. Both of them are really, really mobile, and they can really enable the laners. So far, lanes seem to be equal in strength, although I'd have to give a bit of the poke damage to Kassadin if he can bully Vlad, since Vlad is... No, it's a top
No,
lane Vlad, my
top
bad.
lane Vlad.
Top
It's a
lane
mid
Vlad.
still.
Kassadin versus a Fizz.
I'd say it's a toss up.
That'll be interesting.
It's tough since both of them are probably gonna run flask, three pots.
I think it's a toss up.
Yeah. It's sort of an even lane. Although you know how scary Fizz damage is.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
true.
Since
Um,
Fizz is now based on W damage.
yep, the W got switched if not mistaken. So the percent is at
Mhm.
the passive already. Is that correct?
One thing I have to note though is that blue team has a lot, as in a lot of heal. You use the Janna Tornado and the Janna ultimate and the Lee Sin ultimate to push people away. So I
Mhm.
can see Gragas having a bit of a problem sticking to people. But they do have a Fizz, so we're gonna have to watch how it goes. Syndicate's really, really strong at pushing early lane advantages, especially with their jungler. Their jungler is pretty talented at making counter ganks as well as objective control, but Syndicate has a bit of a problem in the mid game when it starts to go into a team fight, so we're gonna have to wait and see on how it goes.
Like I think that a lot of
So,
the engages disengages will be centered around the Fizz and the Gragas, with a little bit of assistance from the Brom. That's for the purple team. Blue team, however, does have several. Actually, I think a lot more engaged potential with the tornado, with the monsoon. We have Lee Sin kick. We have Cyan ulti.
You
A lot
should
of those are
you shouldn't underestimate the grass Brom Fizz potential though.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's an exceedingly scary amount gauge potential just from the Gragas, but you pair it up with the Braum and the Fizz who can follow him. Even the Lucian, the only really mobile champ they have is the Vladimir. I can
That
really
has
see Purple Team engaging really, really early. So it'll probably be up to Blue Team to fight back. Especially since they have the Jinx. Jinx isn't really what you'd call a very mobile carry.
Yeah,
If she
but
gets dumped by the very mobile Syndicate team, it's probably all
but
over.
I do have to be honest. Like
I'm
Jinx does go wild, like really wild. So there's a lot of
Eventually, yes.
yeah, there's a lot of pressure on the Jinx if I'm not mistaken. Like all things considered, Jinx ain't the most mobile, but her passive actually cat makes it so that she can easily clean up 2 to 3 people that are low, because the passive just keeps going and going, going
The
every time.
problem is she does need to get a pick though, and
Yeah.
based on Purple Team's picks, they're going to be very, very tanky with the probable exception of is.
There's
Imagine trying to cut through a Vladimir or a Brom or a Gragas as a Jinx. You're not gonna be able to do that until your super pick comes in.
I'm giving
Okay,
I'm giving the mid game to
Tessa, that was
Red
bad.
Team.
Tessa, that was really bad. Tessa, what did you do?
What did she do?
Anyway,
Yeah.
just wait and see. Just keep an eye on the Lee Sin and the Gragas. They'll really be the ones to dictate the pace of the game, especially since they're really, really influential early in jungle.
How do you think early game and mid game would go for these teams?
It depends. Gragas versus Lee Sin is surprisingly balanced because Gragas is actually a really good dueling champion. So it depends. If Lee Sin gets the early lead and is able to get early level 6, then he's gonna have a lot of influence. The problem though is that Gragas outscales Lee Sin. Percentage damage is really strong. His passive is really strong. So we're going to see. I do give the late game to Blue Team though, if anything. They have the
Yeah.
Scion who
Kassadin and
basically
Jinx.
scales infinite well. Kassadin who scales really well at deleting carries, and you have the Jinx.
Okay,
Early lane game is
so
probably ridiculous.
we have our wait, is the game starting? Why is my screen not moving? No. Okay. So we'll have our shoutcasters for today. We have Mokin Cake, Zero Kills, and D-Wolf X. They will be in charge of our entire game right now. And to the viewers that we have right now, hope you enjoy this hopefully very, very close game. So I'll take it to our shoutcasters.
So the ping is all over the map, and that's signifying where the wards will be at. And I think there will not be an invade given the compositions. Like there's no actual need to.
Neither
Yeah,
team
and-
wants to invade.
Yeah, their distribution is so like all over the place, so you can be pretty sure that they're not going to be engaging anytime soon.
Lucian and
It's not an invade. It's just like looking for
Oh,
an early skirmish.
or deep wards early.
There's a little bit of action in top.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So deep wards for Syndicate.
Syndicate, notably very good at ward control. I've seen one of their games and they had wards like all over the place.
Yeah, Syndicate is a team that usually runs a double sidestone composition. So I'm expecting to see a sidestone from Gragas towards the mid game, and that's when their power spikes hit, and hopefully they can shut down the enemy team. And that's the entire goal of the Syndicate game plan. Syndicate's known for an early game, for a team that really has a strong laning phase, and they use that laning phase lead to snowball off